Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, as you can tell by the title, this is going to be a review on the show Married at First Sight. This is my first time reviewing a show. I've been watching it since season one, and I don't know, for some reason, I wanted to start giving reviews on this season. I saw it and I'm like, I really want to give reviews and communicate with you guys and see what you think of it. I wanted to wait until after the weddings, after the first day of the honeymoon, just to see the couples, how they interact with each other before I actually jump in with my commentary. So let's get started. I am going to go over episode 4, but I want to give my overall opinion of the couples. So let's start with Amber and Matt. Amber, I like her. I like her. I think she's very sweet, bubbly, and just she seems like a down to earth, overall good person. I like her family as well. I like their dynamics, and considering the situation with her mom, but overall, I really like her and her family. I think she's a bit naive though. I think she is in lust with Matt. The fact that he's this tall, good looking basketball player and she loves basketball. It's kind of like this fantasy being played out in real life. I also feel like the fact that she's just automatically matched with someone. So it's not a situation where she has to meet someone and impress them in order to get them to marry her. She's already married. So she's just living in this la la fantasy land. And I just, I'm a little concerned for her. The reason why I'm concerned for Amber is, guys, I don't think Matt is there for the right reasons. I really don't. I think Matt is there to get noticed. I think Matt is there for a paycheck. And the reason why I say that is, okay, he plays basketball overseas. Now, overseas players do not get paid as much as NBA players, not by a long shot. Matt at best probably makes 60, 70, maybe 80,000 a year. Um if he's even still playing. I mean, he said that he played. I'm assuming this is off season. And I just think that he's looking for a paycheck while it's off season. His friends did mention that, he was into music and things like that. I just think he's looking for exposure, and it doesn't hurt that you're getting a paycheck in the process. I want to talk about his family and the whole situation surrounding that. Okay, now, yes, when parents divorce, a lot of times the kids are affected. Notice I said kids. Not to say that adult children can't be affected, but for the most part, it's little kids, maybe even teenagers. It's like, Matt, you're a grown man. So for you to be, and it's not even like he's devastated. Like when he talks about it, he's not talking, he doesn't come off as, oh my God, I'm so devastated. It's like they divorced and I'm not talking to them. Like that's pretty much the extent of what he's giving us. My parents divorced, they were married for a long time. I'm not talking to either one of them. Personally, I find that to be weird because, okay, their marriage didn't work out. Why do you hate them? Why did that cause you not to eat? So you're not even calling to check on your mom to see how she's doing. He stated that they used to talk every day. He said that he and his dad used to talk at least every week. So because they decided not to remain married, you are no longer talking to them. Like, you guys don't, that's odd to me. It's just really, really odd. If anything, I would think that you would, at least for your mom, you would reach out to her just to make sure she's okay. Because yeah, okay, you don't like it, they divorced, but how is she feeling? How is she dealing with this? Do you not care how this divorce is affecting your mom or even your dad, whichever one? So the fact that you decided to, hey, I'm not talking to you guys anymore, I just find that odd. Not only that, okay, for whatever reason you're not talking to your parents. What about the rest of your family? So none of your family members came to your wedding. They didn't know about the wedding. They didn't even know you were on the show. So are you not close to anybody in your family? No cousins, no your grandma, your auntie, your fake cousin, your cousin, third cousin, nobody. You don't talk to anybody in your family. Again, a red flag. That strikes me as odd, and I feel like you didn't tell your family because you didn't want them to know. By the time this show comes out and they are finally seeing it, you've either fallen head over heels in love with Amber and you come up with some bogus excuse as to why you didn't tell them, or you and Amber have parted ways, you've gotten the fame that you wanted, or whatever it is the reason you came on this show. But it is obvious he did not want his family to know that he was coming on this show for a reason. Okay? People that are not, no communication with your family, I find that odd. Okay? So moving on from that, let's talk about Elizabeth and Jamie. Okay, I like Elizabeth. She's crazy. It's like a train wreck, but I like her. She's funny. However, I feel like Elizabeth, she just strikes me. Sorry, guys, if you hear some rumbling going on in the background, it is thunderstorming where I live, and so yeah, it's pretty loud. Hopefully, the mic doesn't pick it up, but if you hear it, that's what it is. Okay, so back on Elizabeth, I feel like Elizabeth strikes me as a wild child. I think she's been a wild child all her life. I think that Elizabeth may have dabbled in drugs or alcohol, may have been promiscuous. Like there's something there about her that screams unstable. Okay, maybe even some mental issues going on there. But she strikes me as unstable and may have had to been monitored all her life. And I think that's why her dad is the way he is. Now, dad is a little creepy, okay? Because I understand being a protective father. I get it. I get it. I understand. And especially if your child has made a lot of mistakes along the way and may have been a little unstable here and there. Yeah, I can see you being very protective. And it's almost like, okay, let her go on this show. That way, we're not going through the process of her getting her heart broken, her going out here, trying to find guys on her own. Let's just have experts match her and I'll just hand her off to someone else. But I think dad needs to back up a little bit because instead of coming off as a protective father, he is coming off as a jealous lover. I'm sorry, but he's doing way too much. Now, Elizabeth strikes me as the type, because she has been under her father's protective wings, if you will. Elizabeth comes off as mentally stunted. It's like she's looking for someone to step into her father's role of being her protector, her provider, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's what your husband is supposed to be to you. But she's looking to be this little princess, she acts childlike at times. And I think that's what she's looking for. She's obviously this freak, she wants to be intimate with her husband, but at the same time she wants this father like protector as well. Jamie Jamie is okay. When Jamie first stepped on the scene, I was like, okay, he is very tightwad, very robotic, this neat freak, this OCD type personality. And I was surprised to see him loosen up as much as he did. And I think Elizabeth is good for him in that way because she's so carefree and wild and energetic that it brings it out of him. So I think that's a good thing. However, as we saw on the honeymoon when they had their first big blow up, their true personalities came out. And you can see where there's conflict. I honestly think they're good for each other in terms of she allows him to loosen up, she brings that out of him. At the same time, she requires a bit of structure and he provides that. So they can be good together. However, the situation where on their honeymoon, this was in episode 4, where after playing volleyball, she went to go upstairs to shower, change, and he went straight to the restaurant to have lunch. Whereas all the other married couples were already there together eating lunch. Okay, so the big blow up, Elizabeth was pissed off because she was in the room waiting for her husband who was already eating lunch and now he's back in the room. My opinion, they both could have handled it differently. Both of them. Okay. Elizabeth, in my opinion, when she decided she wanted to go upstairs and take a shower instead of going straight to the restaurant, could have just told her husband. There's nothing wrong with simply saying, honey, look, I feel icky. I want to go take a shower before we go eat. So, do you want to come with me or you want me to just meet you in the restaurant? It's plain and simple. On the other hand, Jamie, once he saw that his wife walked off or turned around and realized she was no longer there, he should have gone to look for her. He should have. That's only the right thing to do, especially since there hasn't been any issues. Now, granted, they do a lot of editing, so we don't know if something went down or there was some lingering tension. But just going by what we saw, if everything was okay, you guys have been having a good time, you wherever she was you were, vice versa, all of a sudden you see that she's not there, why would you not go look for her? Why would you just automatically go and have lunch without her? Okay, then you get to the room and she's like pissed off, like, hey, why would you leave me, and whatever, and he goes into this nonchalant, just, I don't know, like this very whatever type attitude towards her. I don't know if it was more so because she was going off on him, because he did say once she snapped on him, he just, went into his own little, into his head. But when he said, she was like, you act like you don't care. And when he went into why should I care, that, I didn't like that. What do you mean, why should you care? That's your wife. Even if she wasn't your wife, even if she was just your friend, why would you not care about her feelings and how she's expressing herself to you? Then he went into this whole, which I call just petty mode, when he said, well, you left me first. So, like, what are you talking about? So now we're doing tit for tat. You are a grown man. This is your wife. Yes, you should have gone to look for her to see if she was okay, number one, because what if she wasn't feeling well, what with anything? So they both could have handled that differently. They seem to recoup after that, which is great. Now, the conversation they had about children. Now, I'm not crazy to think that none of these people are lying on their applications when they're applying for this show. I mean, let's just keep it real, okay? A lot of these people, for whatever reason, I don't want to say desperate, but they're going to fill out the application to the point where they feel like it's going to get them on this show. However, the point where you are lying about whether or not you want children, that's big, because the fact that you would lie and say you wanted kids, knowing that you don't, knowing that there's a big possibility they're going to match you with someone else who put down that they want children. Knowing that you do not, why would you even do that? Because now here you are matched with someone who want kids, you know that you don't. That's going to already cause drama in your marriage. Something like that, I don't think anyone should ever exaggerate a lie about, because that is a make it or break it type situation for your marriage. Now, luckily, they both said that they lied and neither one of them wanted children. That's what they're saying. Um, so that worked out for them. But what if one of them did and the other one lied? Like, that's crazy to me. But anyway, so it works out for them. Jamie and Elizabeth, I feel, are going to have more explosive arguments. I think their way of solving it and getting through it is sex. I think they're going to solve their problems with sex, and then everything's going to be okay until the next argument. Now, let's get off of them. Let's talk about Deanna and Greg. Okay, Greg grew on me. In the beginning, I felt like he was kind of weird in a way. Um, he was just kind of off-putting for some reason. Deanna, I just thought, okay, she's a party girl, she worked on herself. She, got her degrees and worked on herself. Okay, fine. Now, the whole 10-year no relationship, I took that as she has not had a serious relationship in 10 years. However, I did not for a minute think that she didn't date or was sexually active. There's a difference. No serious relationship, but you can't tell me that you were not dibbling dabbling for 10 years straight. I don't believe it. I feel like those two together, Deanna strikes me as she is not really feeling Greg. For some reason, she seems annoyed by him. It's like everything he says, she's rolling her eyes, she's kind of taking jabs. And I don't know if it's his looks that she's just not attracted to him, or his personality, or both. But yeah, she seems very smug at times and like she's just totally annoyed by Greg. Um, I feel that we saw in this episode where towards the end she kind of changed a little bit. Now, here's my thought. When all of the ladies were on the beach and they were talking about how things are going so far, everybody had something positive to say about their spouse. Everyone seemed happy with their spouse and what's going on thus far. Deanna, when she started talking and she was like, intimacy, whatever, I'm looking like, did they edit that part out? Because you and Greg come off like brother and sister at times. Like, there's no chemistry, there's no intimacy, there's no affection, there's no nothing. And I personally think that she shifted once she saw how the other ladies were talking about their spouses. I think that kind of pushed her in the direction like, let me give this man a chance, let me try to work on it. Not because she wants to, but more so because she doesn't want to be that couple that doesn't work. She doesn't want to be the Jasmine and Will of this season, which, by the way, they remind me a lot of them. Not just so much in looks, but just the dynamics between them two. But I feel like that's why she shifted a little bit and started to be more engaging with him, because of the interaction she had with the other women and how things are going with their spouses. But we will see. Now, on to Iris and Keith. Iris and Keith, out of all of them, I would say is my favorite couple right now. I want to talk about the whole virgin situation. Okay. Kudos to her for holding out this long, saving it for your husband. I commend her. However, who is Iris? Who is she other than this virgin? Like, I get it. Kudos to you, but I want to know more about her. I just don't want her to be identified as the virgin on the show. Um, I want to go back to the wedding when, well, no, first, let's go back to the um, gown shopping. So, this whole, oh, it has to be pure white, this and that. I know that's how it was, or that's what it's supposed to be way back in the day. Now, I'm married. I've been married 16 years. I wore a white wedding gown. I was not a virgin on my wedding day. So the whole pushing that narrative of the white dress, and I mean, the average bride wears white. The average bride is not a virgin. So the fact that they kept pushing that narrative, I'm like, okay. Moving on from that, the day of the wedding when she met his mother, and what, 2 minutes in the conversation, I'm a virgin. I mean, I don't know. I, I don't know the right or wrong way to present that. Personally, I felt like that was a conversation to be had with your husband. I think Iris told his mother that in a way to try to impress her. And is it me, guys? But why did his mom act like she was kind of disappointed? Like I was, she commended her, but the look on her face, her whole reaction, and the fact that as soon as Iris walked off, she ran to Keith and was like, "Your wife is a virgin," which I did not like. I did not think that was her place to tell Keith about Iris being a virgin. That is a conversation for those two to have when Iris is ready. So I didn't like that. However, yeah, his mom's reaction to that was kind of like, I don't know. She kind of acted disappointed, if you will. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, she wasn't like happy go lucky that her son's wife was a virgin. So, moving right along, of course, the conversation keeps coming up about her being a virgin. All right, I have to say, I like Keith. Very handsome guy, seems sweet. I'm with Iris. Like, why are you on this show? You're very attractive. He seemed established and nice guy. Like, I know there are some women out there who would love to be with you and who would love to be married. So, yeah, why come on this type of show? But to each his own. Um, Keith comes off as patient and understanding as far as Iris being a virgin. Um, which I like. That's a very good look for him to come off the way, whether he mean it or not. Is convincing. Now, I found it funny when on this episode they when he brought it up again, and then that made me think, all right, he's yeah, okay, he's been patient, but he wants to know what's the real deal. And I don't know if it's because Iris has been, like, we see it where she's like have her hand on his thigh, and maybe she's doing other things that make him think like, okay, you say you're a virgin, what type of virgin are you? Because we all know there are some what you call born again virgins, where okay, you've been out there, you've had sex, and now you want to be celibate and wait until you're married. So there are different types of virgins out there. So I feel like maybe Iris has done something to, maybe she's sending mixed signals and he wants to know, okay, exactly what type of virgin are you. So it is this episode that Iris opens up and admit that although she has not had sexual intercourse where she has been penetrated, she has dabbled in intimacy. Okay. Now, whether that's oral, whether that's just fondling, anal, whatever the case may be, she has done something sexual. Okay. Just not actual vaginal intercourse. And I found it funny because when they were laying on the hammock and she said that without giving details, y'all, Keith's face lit up. You couldn't tell him that, okay, I know she dibbled and dabbled, so I'm going to get some type of affection tonight or somewhere along the way. He seemed really happy and really relaxed. Now, back to Iris. Okay, so to each his own. This is my opinion, but I feel like Iris initially presented herself as this innocent, pure virgin, never been touched, it's all for my husband, kind of not saying that she judged the other women, but she led. When she walked in the room, she was wearing the letter V. It was known within a few minutes of knowing her, she was a virgin. And I felt like that was her card to play. It kind of put her in a totally different category than the other women. I think she was looking for this praise, if you will. Now, to turn around and find out that, okay, yeah, you didn't have vaginal sexual intercourse, but you were touched. You had performed or had performed on you some type of sexual act. Now that that's come to light, it's kind of like, okay, you weren't being totally honest or forthcoming. Um, you were kind of, not to say that when she had the conversation, I'm a virgin, to even give details of what she did. Not to say that she had to do that, but to kind of give the perception that I'm saving myself for marriage, I haven't done anything. It kind of came off that way. And now we know that wasn't the case. Now, her daddy is probably somewhere dehydrated from crying his eyes out after seeing that episode, because I'm pretty sure in his mind, my baby girl's a virgin. She's never been touched, maybe been kissed, but that's as far as it went. So he's probably having a fit. Um, but yeah, so hearing that, I'm not gonna lie, it did make me look at her a little different because, again, to me, she came off as maybe she's kissed and hugged real tight, and that's as far as it went. And we know now that that was not the case. So that is my opinion, my thought, my review on the couples themselves um, thus far. If I had to say who I feel will say yes at the end, just going by, we're in episode 4, just so far going by what we've seen. At the end of the experiment, I think Iris and Keith will say yes. Not to say that they'll last after that, but I think they will say yes. I think Elizabeth and Jamie, as crazy as they are, I think they will say yes. And you know what? I think they all would say yes. I really do. I think Deanna and Keith will say yes just to save face and probably break up after the fact. But right now, I think they all would say yes at the end. Now, of course, that opinion will change or may change once we see other episodes. But that is it, you guys. That is my thoughts so far. I hope to and plan to do a review after each episode moving forward. But again, I wanted to wait until I saw more interaction between the couples to come on and give my views on it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary. Please leave comments below if you agree, disagree. I really want to know what you guys think of the show and see if your views differ from what I see. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and until next time, take care.